The Jedi during the Age of the Republic were great warriors. However, in many cases, they somewhat pale in comparison to the awesome abilities of the Jedi from ancient lore and Jedi almost a century later. But why is this? And is there a reason why Jedi in this period are arguably weaker than other generations? Now, it is important to note that this video is going to be more of a theory. We can't actually say definitively that the Jedi were weaker from this period, or Jedi from the past or future are any more powerful, at least not canon ones. However, it's something that I wanted to talk about, especially considering the insane amount of power we've seen someone like Rey and Kylo Ren wield from the new trilogy. For example, literally being able to reanimate somebody who is dead. The main factor that I want to focus on in this video is the Jedi during the reign of the Republic and how, in my opinion, they lived somewhat of a monotonous life. It was an age of relative peace. Not only this, but their most feared adversary, the Sith, were more or less unheard of. For this reason, I believe that, in a way, they kind of became lazy, but that's not really their fault, as I'll explain. Now, as we know, the Force is incredibly entangled with emotions and feelings. We see some Force users at their most powerful when experiencing strong emotions. And this is arguably why the Jedi try to avoid certain ones, because it's dangerous to hold that amount of power. It can go to your head and you quickly turn to the dark side. The idea that power's corrupting people is very true in the Star Wars universe in the sense of the Force. But this is the point. During this period, the Jedi weren't really in a position to feel any of these emotions or drivers to tap into this additional power of the Force. They kind of lacked incentive. They were indoctrinated into the Jedi Code, and they were done so in an ideal situation to follow it more or less. They were strong in a position of power. Jedi weren't regularly being killed, and for this reason, there wasn't really a need to test the boundaries of the Force, if you will. If we compare this to, say, Rey, their situation was far different. Rey was the last of the Jedi. If she dies, so does the Order, and that's a lot of pressure, and there's going to be a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions surrounding her, even if she's trying to block that out. She's able to resurrect Kylo Ren because she's been put in a situation where she's entangled with him. This is somewhat actually against the Jedi Code. However, if she was strongly following the Jedi Code, then it's likely she wouldn't have been able to commit these acts. But then we can look at the Jedi of old. Mostly we're going to be looking at legends. The galaxy during this time was far more barbaric. The Sith Order is still strong and powerful, and it's an ever-existent threat. For this reason, the Jedi need to be strong, and they're very emotionally invested in it, even if their code warns against it. Essentially, I believe that since the Jedi weren't in a position where they needed to be strong, they weren't. Arguably, you need strong emotional incentive to fully use the powers of the Force, at least incredibly advanced ones. And the Jedi Code works quite well, because it stops them from using their powers more than it's necessary. However, it means that when they are put in a position of power, they are to an extent capped of their own individual potential. Now, you may be thinking, well, during the Clone Wars, the Jedi were thrust into an extreme conflict, so why didn't they naturally become more powerful? And there's two main reasons for this. One being that there was a lot of Sith meddling from Palpatine on the Jedi. He was using a shrine beneath the temple. And the second is that I believe that they were so distanced from the emotions, they felt that they couldn't control them. We know that numerous Jedi either abandoned the Order or fell to the dark side, becoming Dark Jedi in this period. And when you think about it, this makes quite a lot of sense. They've been raised to avoid certain feelings, and their environment has previously allowed them to do this. However, as soon as this environment changes, these emotions are kind of just forced upon them, and they have no idea how to handle them. For this reason, they often get the better of them. Some Jedi are simply suppressing their feelings, whilst others who let them have free reign turn to the dark side. In this period, it was very, very difficult for any Jedi to kind of find that right balance. Compare this to, say, Luke or Rey, two people who became Jedi under extreme circumstances, two people who'd always have an emotional connection to what they were doing. And they were naturally going to be able to apply this whilst not breaking the code, giving them far more power. But what do you guys think? Do you believe that emotions are the key to more power within the Force? And do you believe the Jedi's code actually acts as a boundary to stop them from becoming more powerful in times when it's arguably not necessary? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, please remember to like, share and sub, as it's really appreciated. and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLoreGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. But most importantly, thank you for watching. I really do hope that you enjoyed this little video, and I'll see you next time.